This is CBT News.
Hi everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. Thanks so much for joining us today. Today we've got with us Mr. John Fitzpatrick, who is the president and CEO of Force Marketing, a nationwide marketing company for the retail automotive industry. John, thanks so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. So I see you're hunkered down there in your home. Talk to us a little bit about Force Marketing. I know you have 100+ associates, work with dealers all over the country. How are you navigating through this coronavirus situation?
Yeah, these are very unique times that we're in, and we are taking this very seriously, which is why we're working from home, as all of our associates are nationwide. We decided to do that this week as we were paying very close attention and having daily all-hands meetings all of last week, listening to our local, federal, state officials, and trying to determine how we were going to handle this very unique scenario that we're in.
Right now, many dealers are wondering, should they even be open? Should we be selling cars and servicing cars right now? What about our associates? What about their safety and such? Should a dealership be open?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I think we're seeing our top dealer partners take this very seriously as well, and make sure that they're extra cleaning their showrooms and making sure that they're taking precautionary steps on their team members, and so that's important. They need to do that from a business perspective. But I think dealers are in a unique scenario where they, in the world where they provide transportation. Folks lean on them to get from A to B, and in times like this, it's really important that so long as state, local, federal officials say that it's safe to have their dealerships open, they probably should. And I think a lot of them think about it that way. Think about the service side of their business and the folks that still have to transport, or the businesses like Amazon or UPS or the grocery stores that are now going direct or using services that go direct. If those cars break down, now we can't get food to the folks that are quarantining. So I think the transportation side of the industry is important, and therefore so long as they can, I think they should be open. Obviously, that's a market by market, case by case kind of scenario that they should be paying close attention to.
So let me ask you the next question. If the dealership is open, some of them are, some of them aren't, as you pointed out, should dealerships be advertising right now? I know that that's your area of expertise, and you work with hundreds of dealers, as I mentioned, the opening across the country in many markets. Should they be advertising? And if so, is the message different than it was a month ago?
Well, the message is certainly different, right? I think right now, and what we're advising our dealer partners to do is to obviously monitor this very closely and be lockstep with what our news and media outlets, local, state, federal officials are sharing with us, because the data is very, very important. And I think what will win the day during these times is authenticity. Mm-hmm. Dealers will have to really be careful how they are marketing their stores and making sure that it's coming from a place of authenticity and realness, and not trying to present themselves, as they will sometimes do, as maybe the leader in the market, or the best place to buy from these bigger overarching branding campaigns.
Sure.
And get a little more real into how
to acknowledge what's going on right now.
Yeah, education is going to be important. So in these times, look around at consumer behavior. That's certainly what we're doing. Folks are having an unprecedented amount of time on their hands online, consuming streaming media, for one. And, Force Marketing's made a huge pivot into the streaming media space with our Drive product, which is a dynamic retail inventory vehicle engagement product. And so as you think about the consumer journey and the amount of time spent online researching across 30 to 45 days in a low funnel shopping environment, when a consumer has made the decision that it's time to find the next vehicle, that is now going to increase 10-20-fold with the amount of time that they have working from home and sitting on the couch during their downtime, and not going out to concerts and bars and restaurants and venues. So you've got as I mentioned, an incredible amount of time being spent. And certainly it's going to go towards the efforts where, if they would have spent 14 hours online, as JD Power shared with us, in our old world, what does our new world look like with the amount of time that they have, right? Could that be 28 hours online, 30 hours online? So we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can to help our dealers be top of mind and in front of the consumer as they have all of this extra time. And so
Sure.
we're
You
really
also
looking
have,
at
you've got consumers out there that actually need a car. If 30% of the people that drive off a new vehicle off of a showroom floor are leasing that vehicle, that lease has an end date. And every month we know that leases come to maturity, hence putting those people right back into the showroom or back into the market, I should say. And then you've got other people who have experienced an accident where their car's been totaled, or maybe the vehicle's been stolen or what have you. Not as popular as leasing, obviously. Those people that where the car is completely broken down, they don't want to invest any more money in it. So there's always in the marketplace a true need for a vehicle. Not my car's fine. I'm kind of looking at vehicles, but those people that say, no, my car's been totaled and I've got to get around, so I've got to buy a vehicle. And so I think we have got to be cognizant in the industry, right, about being able to serve those individuals as well during this time.
Yeah, for sure. But even the folks that aren't in maybe an urgent scenario,
right,
they're going to spend more time across the shopping journey.
Right.
And so we're paying close attention. We're having daily calls with our close partners at Facebook and Google and Bing, and they're sharing with us a lot of studies. But we started to make some studies of our own, and I'm happy to share some of the statistics that we have found. We looked at year-over-year data, we looked at month-over-month data, and now we have to really look at week-over-week data. Mm-hmm. And what we're finding is that the idea that folks have more time to spend online, are they going to be using that time to shop for a vehicle?
Right.
Is actually happening and at an alarming rate.
Okay.
So of the 150 stores in 40 different markets that we took a look at with our data outside of our Helix technology platform, which pulls in data across an omni-channel experience. So this isn't just Google search data. This isn't just GDN retargeting display data. This isn't just YouTube or Facebook. This is all of the data combined, rolled up. And here's why I'm sharing with you that Thursday of last week, we saw the biggest uptick in our data that showed more shopping behavior. So from a year-over-year perspective, this time last year versus Thursday, March 12th, we saw a 25% increase in search volume in the automotive space across those 40 markets and those 150 rooftops.
Wow, that's incredible.
So a lot was happening Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday leading up to that. So what happens Friday? Friday, 28% increase in search activity in the automotive space. Now, this is auto-specific search activity.
Right.
Isn't activity across the board. Let's go through to Saturday, where we typically will see an uptick already because people are at home and they have a little bit more time.
Right.
36% increase year over year, Saturday, March 14th. This was followed by 35% increase Sunday, 34% increase Monday of this week, and 32% increase on Tuesday of this week.
Wow.
Our average.
People are home shopping for cars.
Our average that we're seeing across the last 6 business days is a 32% increase in search volume online across all of those media partners that I shared with you. Facebook,
so my
YouTube,
original question
Google,
was,
Bing.
My original question earlier was, should dealers be advertising right now? It sounds to me like with those statistics, dealers are going to want to be where customers are right now. Right now is not the time to pull back your ad dollars. Is that what you're saying?
Well, we're giving them the data that supports that mindset.
Right.
So if you're asking my opinion, yes, I think right now they need to be share shifting their dollars considerably into streaming media, looking at the data in front of us,
right,
and looking across the search behavior on Facebook, Google, YouTube, and Bing.
Right.
I absolutely think that makes sense. But we believe in times like this to come out and say, hey, we need to make dramatic moves. It may not make the best sense. That's not the way we like to approach partnerships. We would rather fuel them with this data that I just shared with you.
Right.
And we have a ton more.
Right.
And then have a real conversation with them as partners around what would be best to do right now. And by the way, communication is important. So we need to be talking about the share shifts daily.
Right.
Daily.
Sure.
That would be Force Marketing being the best stewards of our dealers' ad dollars.
Sure.
And we have always believed that their ad dollars we need to treat like our own. And that's exactly what we're doing in times like this. And we're just sharing the data that's coming out of our technology, that's coming out of our media partners, because we believe that's where we send the most value to a dealer.
Let's talk about the message, because I know that you, before we started recording here today, you were talking about some of the campaigns that the OEMs have already come out with to face this crisis or to help their consumers with extended payments, or maybe no payments due for 90 days or maybe 120 days or something like that with no money down. Talk to us about those programs and the importance of those at a time like this in the industry.
Yeah, so that's where I think the creative comes in. If a dealer's trying to figure out how should they be messaging to their communities, I think it's we're here for you. We always have been. A lot of the dealers have been around for generations, and so they are already top of mind for consumers. They're part of the community in a very, very big way. In fact, I've always said I don't think dealers get enough credit for how charitable they are in the communities that they serve. And so this is like no other time, right? But you're looking at Hyundai, Nissan, Toyota, Ford, GM just yesterday coming out with either payment aid or deferment programs for up to 90 days. Buy a new vehicle, and we'll work on that both on a new car purchase as well as a lease. You're seeing 0% interest starting to come back around to give the confidence into the buyer that, okay, we can, we're here for you. We're going to get through this. I would suggest dealers need to piggyback those efforts. They're going to be spending the big dollars from a national perspective. You'll start to see the commercials, the streaming media influences, the social media aspect. There's no doubt Madison Avenue is going to push these messages out in a big way. I think the dealers need to piggyback upon that and just showcase why their unique selling proposition, their brand promise should bring that buyer that's interested in that 0%, that's interested in that deferral program into their store.
Sure.
And really, we want to think about their online store, right? We want to bring them to the VDP page. We want to bring them to the website. We want to make sure that we're closing at a higher percentage online.
You know, as we talked earlier, in this case where let's say that you've got a manufacturer that says, hey, no payments for 90 days and no money down with 0% financing or what have you, that might be very appealing to, let's say, a bartender or a waitress or a cook or somebody that's in the movie industry or what have you that says, hey, I'm out of work, so if I can alleviate my current car payment and trade it in on a vehicle and not have any payments, any car payments for 90 days or 120 days, and no money down, that might be appealing to me as well, not just for the new car, but also to kind of use it as a little bit of a relief to my current car payment situation, right?
There's no doubt about it. And so now what you're showcasing is bringing people into market that maybe were not even considering a new car purchase, but now they are.
That's right.
Because they're in a unique scenario where they've been furloughed, or they're in the business of tips, and they don't have those coming in anymore.
Yeah, or anything. So, I mean, with companies like Disney World and others that have shut down across the country, retailers are shutting down. It's certainly going to be putting quite a pinch in the family budget, as they say, right? To say the least.
And if they can get into a new car and take advantage of this for 90 days, that might be appealing. I think this is very interesting. We were in business during the financial crash, the recession, and we started the business in 06. So we saw the climb of a phenomenal economy in 06, 07, and then we saw the crash. That's much different, and that's what I keep sharing with as many people as I can as the scenario that we're dealing with today. That was a financial crisis backed by banks not being able to lend, much different. However, we had cash for clunkers. We had the American public bail out the auto industry. So that put a lot of people with cash for clunkers into the market that were never bringing those clunkers in before. And we saw that really stimulate our automotive economy.
And then after 9/11 as well, GM and some of the others came out with 0% financing for 0%. Up to 60 and 72 months. That also put a lot of people into the market. Their campaign, if you remember back then, was Keep America Rolling. And it worked. It was very effective. Dealers reported pretty robust sales after that, and consumers were happy as well. This is a different situation, but
that was going to be my next point. Is that we're saying this is not like a financial crash that we had in 08, 09. It is more similar to the 9/11 time frame where we had just the fear of the unknown.
Sure, but even on the 9/11 was really when you look at New York and you look at Washington, D.C., and where the disasters took place, the rest of us in the country were nervous, obviously, and obviously upset over what had happened, but it didn't affect our everyday lives. This event is affecting our everyday lives, right? So we're in a new situation here, a pretty big challenge that we'll get through for sure. Just a question of how we'll get through it and how long it will be, right?
Yeah, there's no doubt. Exactly right. And I think ultimately, if we just take it day by day, take it very seriously, but make sure that we're pushing out the message that if you are considering, because look, we're going to have a scenario, hopefully, if this thing is shorter, as we're all praying that it will be, and this is a 3-6 week type of pause on normal life versus a 6-month, as some folks are saying it could be, then the pent-up demand in April and in May of all of these car shoppers is going to be very real. And that's obviously the scenario we're hoping for. We can't necessarily plan on that, but we can really look towards that. I just want to touch upon something real quick. We do have some dealers. So we've kind of got the folks in the middle that are saying, well, kind of day to day, what should we be doing? And we're over communicating with those folks to figure out how to shift their ad dollars into them, where I just showed you the consumers are, at least today. We have some that are doubling down. They think this is an opportunity to get market share. They think this is an opportunity to go after that 28% lift in shopper activity and bring those folks into their store versus the next store, or at least earn the top of mind brand equity that once this thing calms down, they'll go to their store. Then we've got the other side of the spectrum that's saying pause all activity and let's not spend any dollars in marketing until we figure out what's going on. And again, what we believe is important to us is to just share what the data supports from what the consumers are doing in their homes right now. To that point, I shared with you the shopper intensity has increased online, but I have a couple of others for those internet managers or for those metric focused viewers of yours. We have some more that are coming really hot off the press here. Video impressions specifically, up 97% across those 40 markets, 150 stores. So when you think about streaming media, think about what we thought to be true. People are going to be consuming more media. The data is coming in that is happening.
Yeah, there's no
Video
question.
views.
That's. I mean, I myself and my wife sat on the couch, all weekend long, just kind of catching up on TV and between the news and then Hulu and Netflix and all the others.
That's right. Video views, so impressions up 97%. Video views up 110%. Overall impressions, as I just shared with you, has been about an average of 32% across the last 5 days. This has just been very interesting data that we felt we wanted to share with reviewers, but this is what we're sharing with our partners daily so that we can sit with them and figure out the levers that need to be pulled in real time as we kind of navigate through these very unique, unprecedented waters.
Well, John Fitzpatrick, CEO and President of Force Marketing, one of the nation's leaders in automotive marketing for dealers, been around umpteen years. So, John, thank you so much for joining us. Love to have you back on the show to talk more about this, because every dealer is wondering, should I be advertising, should I not? What should the message be? But to your point, and I think it's well taken, this is a day-by-day situation. Today, it looks like you probably should be advertising.
Yeah, that's right. And as we've said, in a market that is that's more normal to what we're used to, let data dictate your decisions.
Right.
Let the data dictate your decisions. And so the more data that we can compile across what the auto shopper is doing and then mirror our action plans accordingly, I think that's going to be the best way to interact. And again, looking at it daily, because things are changing. It's so quick in front of us.
That's right. Well, again,
appreciate
John,
you having us on.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it so much.
Today's tip of the day is brought to you by Recon Velocity. Retail ready, faster. To learn more, go to reconvelocity.com.
Hi, this is Becky Chernick with your tip of the day. Don't wait for the deal to come to you. Engage earlier with the customer. Meet the customer on their terms at the salesperson's desk to find out why they might have that slow pay history. Get the story from the customer firsthand in their own words. Take notes, lots of them if need be. Don't depend on the salesperson to tell you the reasons for the slow pay history. Find out what happened, what prevented the customer from making timely payments, and most important of all, why it won't happen again. The banks still want a good story before they'll be willing to approve the loan. Make sure you have your ducks in a row before you get the bank on the phone. Many times when I've glanced at a credit report, it would seem like a lost cause. I thought that there'd be no way I could get the deal approved, or if I did, I assumed the chances would be better with a deep subprime bank and a huge acquisition fee. I'm sure you can relate. It's probably happened to you a couple times. After meeting with the customer, getting to know them a bit, and finding what prevented them from making payments on time, a whole new world will likely open up for you. It will open up a viable path for you to take, which most often leads to success in getting that bank approval. It's no longer just about the FICO score. Today's banks want to know the story behind the score.
Check out this week's episode of On the Mark with Mark Tuitt. And don't forget to follow us on social at CBT News, where you can share your thoughts and opinions. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you right back here on Monday.
CBT Automotive Network, the #1 most watched network in retail automotive. This has been a JBF Business Media production.